The picture of me bleeding in the sharpshooter at WrestleMania 13 and the submission match against Bret the Hitman Hart was one of the most iconic pictures in the history of wrestling, and one which would help, really cement my career. And it was such an image, and this is the image that I speak of. And pretty much anybody that is a wrestling fan has seen this picture. And it is me trying my hardest to escape from a sharpshooter, which I was unsuccessful at going to pass out. But the fact that Rich Frida captured that moment, it's one of the best pictures, I think, in the history of the business. And I'm a fan of just, I had a great career, but there's so many other guys and girls that have had tremendous careers, and the photographers that are able to capture these moments, such as that, are really, really special. That is probably my favorite picture out of my entire career, right there, captured by Rich.
He owe you some money? Him?
I don't know what I did. I hope it's not.
You talking about Freddie? You talking about him? Oh, we talking about this brother? Oh,
I feel like I'm in trouble.
You talking about this one? Are you talking about this
No,
guy?
we don't like him at all.
This guy right here is one of the
We can't stand
worst, best. One of the most, we call him
really
Boots.
dislike him.
We love him very much. If you ever heard anything
He always yells at us.
good about him, it's not true. It's very true.
But we don't like him.
I love him, man.
Yeah, good dude. Yeah, let's go.
Love you, man. Thanks for
know.
everything.
He know.
He make us look good.
He know.
My name is Rich Frida. I've been working for WWE as a photographer for 25 years. I moved to Connecticut to working as a news and wire service photographer, and I was trying to figure out where my life was going. I was pretty young, in my early 20s, and I answered an ad that was placed in the New York Times for a sports entertainment company that was looking for a photo editor. The very first show I ever went to was, I think it was SummerSlam in 1994. The main event was Bret Hart against Owen Hart in a steel cage match. And I just remember being overwhelmed by the size of the production and everything that was going on. It was relatively small back then compared to what it is now, but I had never had an experience walking into something where that was that much going on. And relative to today, there's a lot less happening than there is now, but I was young and impressionable, and it was a pretty interesting experience. I definitely remember feeling like I didn't know where I was supposed to be and where I was supposed to go, but the way that we take pictures now is so different than what it was back then. I mean, the primary difference being we used to shoot film and now we shoot digital, and we have this immediate feedback from what we're doing and whether we're doing a good job or not, as opposed to waiting days and days to find out whether you got the shot. The days can be pretty demanding. I mean, we typically work anywhere from 12 to 15 or 16 hours at a normal television show day. I mean, one of the things that's so rich about this environment is that there are so many different types of photography that we produce in a given day. In addition to the ringside action photography that we produce, we do multi-light studio photography that gets used for everything from pay-per-view posters to marketing or billboards that they use to promote the shows all over the world. In addition to that, we do a lot of documentary storytelling photography, some event photography, some appearances and stuff like that. WrestleMania is a grind. It has been for a long time, but as the company has grown, the demands for photography have grown along with it. I think the company as a whole just works at a really high level at WrestleMania. I think it's not uncommon for people to work 18-hour days, and then you get to show day, and that's when you have to really give it your all. And nowadays, the show's typically in a stadium, so it's a lot bigger and a lot more walking, and it's a hard environment. No matter where you're working and what you're doing in the photo department, and there's a lot of us that work there, there are physical demands to the job, not just carrying the equipment, but moving around and being where you need to be, and just the endurance of a week-long, marathon of sorts. I think for WrestleMania 18 and WrestleMania 17, between the Sky Dome and the Astrodome in Houston, I don't know that I've ever felt anything like that in an arena ever. The talent has a saying that you can feel the energy in the building, And it was palpable that night for both of those shows. And when you have Stone Cold and Rock facing off, or Rock and Hogan facing off, the energy, it takes a lot to get the energy to the ring, but those crowds were crazy. Those were amazing moments. I don't know that I'll soon forget.
It's not just the big shows. Rich doesn't just only work WrestleMania or SmackDown Live on Fridays. He works all the house shows, you know what I mean? He goes on tours. I've been on countless tours with him. He's caught amazing photos. And it's awesome because it's the night you don't think, like that one night in Lille, France, or Zurich, Switzerland. You don't realize that that could be the night that, man, that's the photo that's being hung in my living room, or in my formal room, or over, you know, in my closet somewhere. That's going to be the picture that my kids ask me about years later. Like, man, Dad, I can't believe you're kind of a cool guy back in the day. But it's guys like Rich and that are able to just, you know, locate these moments and just capture them for a lifetime. So appreciate you, Rich.
20 years I've known Rich. This fine gentleman here. I get to work next to him all the time. His camera gets to hit me in the hip every show, throw me off balance, but that's okay. I still love him. He's a good guy, he's a hard worker, and he's a credit to the WWE.
A lot of the guys that have been working the TV cameras at ringside have been there almost as long as I have. But the relationship with the cameraman down there is unique. I mean, those guys are working very, very hard to capture a lot of what we're doing for the television show. We have our own, you know, secret code about what we're doing and how we're working, and a lot of times it's just, you know, we'll tap them on the shoulder on a certain side or let them know, or, you know, because they have headphones on as we do, so you can't really talk to them. So a lot of times it's just, you know, you give them a little nudge in the knee, that means that you're down on the floor and shooting low, or if you give them a tap on their blind side, it means you're the right side of them, which is less common. So those guys are great, and they have a very, very hard job as well. But, you know, we oftentimes bump into each other. We oftentimes, you know, are dealing with a lot of the same elements, whether it's like, you know, chairs or kendo sticks or talent flying off of turnbuckles. Like it can be pretty crazy down there, and it's not for the faint of heart.
The one that he's got captured is me doing the zip line. He was up there with me when I was first getting buckled in. Obviously captured the entire thing coming down. Now, I will say this, at that time in my career, and especially on that day, I was 100% focused on what I was doing. And so, honestly, it was just him capturing me, doing my best to absolutely prepare for this big moment of you know, my first run as WWE champion. The next one, obviously, many, many years later, is me going into the Hall of Fame. And even though this is the job that I've done for the majority of my life, being in the ring and wrestling and WWE was not a big part of our home life. And so coming into the Hall of Fame, there's always rings there, and that was one of the few times I got inside the ring with my children and just had a little fun.
And Rich is just easygoing, total professional, not going to get in the way, mindful of spacing, and just a pro's pro. And he knows what to look for. I mean, and timing is everything. And I think any photographer will tell you that. And he's just able to, I think, anticipate shots. And he's been around so long, he knows what could come. And there's not a whole lot that guy's missed, because I consider him one of the best. And not only just one of the best photographers, but myself and Rich have remained friends ever since I walked in the door till whenever I walk back into an arena and see him. It's always good to see his face, shake his hand, and say what's up.
I think over the years, Rich has probably taken phenomenal shots on the biggest nights of them all. You know, the grandest stage, WrestleMania. I know for me, it's cool because we're here in Dallas, and at WrestleMania 32, I was the main event, wrestled Triple H, won the WWE Championship, and he has a very special one of me holding that championship up at the end of the night. Something that I'll always remember for the rest of my life. It's immortalized in photo, and it's just one of those things, you know, it takes a long time to get to that level. A lot of shows, a lot of travel, many, many years behind that lens, within our atmosphere, knowing the way way our show works, being able to set yourself up and get yourself in the proper position, and kind of to be able to see those moments before they happen, to visualize them, that way you're there ready to capture them. So my hat goes off to Rich.
We're talking about like iconic photos when you're talking about yourself. I don't like doing that, but I feel like everybody who has me sign a picture from WrestleMania has the picture of me being carried up, held up with the WWE title by Woods and E.
I love seeing Kofi win the championship last year at WrestleMania. That was such a moment. Like I remember being on a flight with Kofi when he was on his first international tour. It was a long time. It was probably 12 years ago. And then you get an opportunity to see somebody like him who's like genuinely one of the nicest guys in the world, and you see him have his moment, and all you want to do is, take a picture that will embody that, so that he can keep it and the company can have it as a historical document. If these pictures are important even just to the talent, then it's enough of a reason for me to get up and go and try to do it all over again.
Rich has always captured great shots. I think he took the picture of me and my mother back in the day when we had WWE Magazine, they did like a Mother's Day feature and my mom had come backstage. Yeah, he got a real nice one in black and white, and it's just me and her just being mother and son, So Rich always does a great job in terms of capturing the emotion, that is the emotion of the moment in a picture, because it's a very difficult thing to do. As easy as you might think that it might be, because you have a cell phone and you can take a picture, it's a whole other level to actually capture a moment, and Rich always does a great job in capturing those special moments.
As somebody who takes pictures, like, I want to take a picture that somebody's going to look at and think, man, that's a great picture of that moment in time, And the company's so great about this stuff, is like they really have a commitment to producing a historical document of photographs that tell stories, and this is something that comes from the top down. And we always go out there with the intention to try to go and make the next great picture, so that we can take a little piece of, make a little piece of history. Like I take that responsibility really seriously, and I'll keep doing it as long as the company will have me.